Hi, my name is Lauren Hill, and this is my informative speech about distance learning and face-to-face learning. Have you ever thought about where the education system would be had COVID-19 not come in and taken over the lives of everyone in the world? This is something that students and parents and teachers think about on a daily. And while each individual has a preferred method of learning, we are in a time where most people don't have a choice, the era of distance learning. And now, while some may believe that in-person learning is the best, there are some people who may argue against it. But what do we need to know about each method of learning to decide what it is that may be the best? And I'm going to help you out. First, what is distance learning? According to Oxford's Language, distance learning is the method of studying in which lectures are broadcast or classes are conducted by correspondence over the internet without the student's need to attend a school or a college. This simply meaning students are attending school virtually. And now, while most people may take advantage of the allotted free time that are afforded to students and teachers with this preferred method of learning, there are many, like authors Jamu, who tend to focus on the cons that are associated with this method. Mentioned by Jamu in an article about the pros and cons of distance learning, he states that challenges which teachers face in the present scenario are inflicting self-discipline to keep themselves focused to the objective of the lesson without being allowed to multifarious distractions in the form of social media and online games. And though some may argue that distance learning has more benefits than in-person learning, author Jamu made point to mention his point of view regarding the effects of distance learning. In this article, he takes time to not only explain the focus of students, but also explain how the struggles teachers may face and encounter during distance learning, including focusing on the lesson itself and not being distracted. But as we focus on this opinion and the facts about distance learning, there's another topic associated that we must also discuss. And this topic is in-person learning. And that moves me to ask, what is in-person learning? In-person learning, mentioned on Top Hat Glossary, is an instructional method where course content and learning material are taught in person to a group of students. And this allows for a live interaction between a learner and an instructor. Now, while many may seem to enjoy distance learning, there are also a great number of those who would prefer face-to-face learning. According to Agarwal, when learning is promoted by productive discussion and healthy competition, it automatically triggers critical thinking amongst students, and students are able to develop interpersonal and public speaking skills that become critical in the later stages of their professional lives. In this article about face-to-face learning, Agarwal speaks about the benefits of in-person learning and how the skills brought on from this type of learning goes on to enhance the lives of students in their future. Now, with this debate, many people seem to forget that each individual has their own preferred method of learning, whether it's in-person or distance learning. There are many benefits, many cons. Me, myself, as a student, I can understand how distance learning may give you free time, and I can also understand how in-person learning may connect you more to your students and your peers, and you're able to bounce knowledge off of each other and help each other out, and that is a great thing. But yes, while there are many benefits to in-person learning as well as distance learning, each offering a style of learning method for each individual. Now, this great debate has gone on for some time now, but in all honesty, we will never truly get the answer as to which method of learning is better. And although we may never know which learning method is better, it is always best to stay informed about each method. And it's best to stay informed because technology is constantly evolving on a daily basis. And you never know what may come about. There may be a time where we all may be able to go back into a classroom, but because we've been so caught up with distance learning, it may be harder for a student to adjust to being in a classroom again. And vice versa, we may have to continue to stay with distance learning, and it may be harder, even harder for a student now to continue to do distance learning. It is all dependent upon the student. It is dependent upon the teacher, how the teacher teaches, their styles of teaching. Some students may be hands-on learners. Some students may be able to be visual learners. They may not need to see another student or a teacher face-to-face in order to learn the material they need in order for them to graduate or move on to the next grade. And that is completely fine. However, When it comes to distance learning and face-to-face learning, as I've once stated before, it is all up to the individual themselves, as distance learning and face-to-face learning can affect each individual differently. Now, with that being said, I would also like to say that whatever method you may choose to believe in or whatever method you may choose to use, you should always be sure to use the method that is best for you. And although you may see other people using a certain type of method and you may see that it may be easier for them, and you may feel like it's not the best to feel as if you have to dumb yourself down or you have to be smarter in order to fit in with the students, I will always encourage that whatever method you use whatever method is best for you. My name is Lauren Hill, and this was my informative speech about distance learning and face-to-face learning.